Legacy of Goku 2 and Boo's Fury on the Game Boy Advance gave us a taste of what an RPG-style Dragon Ball Z game could be. And yeah, they weren't perfect. 2D graphics, simple mechanics, but man, they captured that DBZ spirit. I remember leveling up Goku, unlocking new abilities and thinking, this is it. This is the Dragon Ball Z game I've been waiting for. However, it did leave me wanting something a little bit bigger and a little bit more epic. Then came along Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Finally, the full 3D open world RPG we'd all been dreaming of. But does Kakarot really live up to the hype and the legacy that the GBA classic set? Let's dive in and find out. When Kakarot was first announced, I was pumped. An RPG that lets you relive the entire Dragon Ball Z saga, flying around as Goku, training, leveling up, taking on Frieza and Cell. Yeah, sign me up. It sounded like everything I wanted since playing those GBA games. But once I actually got my hands on it, well, things are a little bit more complicated. On the surface, Kakarot ticks a lot of boxes. It looks great, is packed with epic moments, but something just doesn't feel right and as deep as it should. First of all, Kakarot calls itself an RPG, but is it really? Sure, you can level up, unlock new abilities, and fight tougher enemies, but where's the real depth? I know it's following a predetermined story, so there's only so much wiggle room, but some more flexibility in how you approach battles, quests, or build your characters would have gone a long way. According to the developers, they said, we wanted players to feel like they were reliving the anime itself, so our focus was on immersion, rather than intricate RPG mechanics. And you know what, I get that, but it feels like a decision that ended up shooting them in the foot. The RPG mechanics come off as undercooked, and by the time you're nearing the end, everything feels maxed out, leaving little room for experimentation or growth.
You never cease to piss me off, you know that?
Now let's talk combat. Kakarot gets some things right here, especially with the boss fights. When you're up against Frieza or Cell, it's not just about spamming Kamehamehas. The varied area attacks keep you on your toes, and suddenly positioning matters. Dodging, blocking, timing your attacks is key. And that's a refreshing change, though some fans of the Tenkaichi series will probably miss some of the deeper combos. Interestingly, the developers aimed to have more destructible environments in those fights to mirror the anime, but technical constraints scaled this feature right back. I can imagine how much more dynamic these battles could have felt if it had been kept in. But what about the open world? Flying around West City, zooming through Namek, and exploring the wastelands around Goku's home. As a kid, we all imagined what it would feel like to leap tall buildings, soar through the sky, and run at super speed, exploring every corner of the DB universe. And Kakarot really delivers on that, in a way that the GBA games just couldn't. Well, at least on the surface. There are also some fun additions like the car driving minigame, throwing back to the infamous DBZ episode where Goku and Piccolo take a driving test. These touches are nice, but they don't make the game feel any deeper. Despite all this space to explore, you're often just moving from point to point without much interaction or discovery. At the end of the day, the open world could have used more life, more interactions, and way more opportunities to immerse yourself in the DBZ universe. Let's be honest, the side quests are where Kakarot really could have leveled up. Instead, we're back to the same old fetch quests and simple battles with very little narrative depth. If you played the Legacy of Goku series on the GBA, you probably noticed that it felt very similar. But look, those were GBA games, limited by the hardware. They actually did an amazing job with what they had. But Kakarot, it's on a more modern console, with all the power in the world, yet the side quests still feel like busy work. Imagine if we had some more deeper stories, some more meaningful interactions with characters, or some lore building missions. With a world as rich as DBZ, I think that's one of the biggest things Kakarot missed. And look, I'll be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of the music in Kakarot. At times it didn't just quite land for me, and felt a bit off. For a lot of fans, myself included, the Falconer score from the Funimation dub is what we associate with DBZ. Tracks like Goku's Super Saiyan theme and Vegeta's theme bring a certain energy that feels inseparable from the series. And hearing sometimes this deflated music during these iconic moments just felt like something was missing.
Farewell, Bull Trunks. Yes, even you, Kakarot.
I actually really love what they did with Legacy of Goku. Those chiptune renditions on the GBA were surprisingly memorable. I think Kakarot could have gone that way a little bit and done something interesting by maybe remixing or updating the classic tunes. There's just something about that DBZ soundtrack that feels so 90s for me. It really taps into the nostalgia of watching the show after school, and it would have been great to bring a bit of that vibe to this game.
All I wanted was to go back to the way I was before!
Now, before you grab your pitchforks, I know there's some fans that prefer the original Japanese score, and that's totally cool. But for a game that's meant to be the ultimate DBZ experience, it would have been awesome to have the option to switch between both, making it a real love letter to fans. Now, Kakarot does nail some big moments.
What just happened? All right now!
But not all cutscenes are created equal. The pre-rendered ones, they look pretty good, crisp, polished, and really drive home those iconic scenes, like Goku's transformation into Super Saiyan. They definitely give the story a cinematic punch. But the in-game cutscenes, they feel very off.
I've heard of you before. May I shake your hand?
I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
There are awkward pauses, weird pacing, and characters just standing there, which really kills the momentum of the narrative. It's a real shame. The story deserves better than this. So while a lot of the moments we love are in here, these uneven cutscenes can take you right out of the experience.
I will have no trouble at all exterminating that trash.
I should mention in DLCs as well. Truth be told, Kakarot has been supported way beyond what I thought it would be. And some DLCs do include new mechanics or storylines, as well as revisiting some fan favourites like Trunks, the Warrior of Hope, adding a bit of a darker tone to the story. But here's the thing, even with these additions, the core issues are still there. The side quests and the RPG depth really haven't been fixed.
After all that trouble, we have nothing but this powerless sack of fat to show for it.
And let's be real, the price for all these DLCs is pretty high for what you get. Maybe I'm the only one that thinks that, let me know in the comments if you disagree. I just expected a little bit more for how much they're charging for these still. Now I know there are some Kakarot fans out there, and you're thinking, Kakarot isn't trying to be the deepest RPG out there, it's reliving the best moments of DBZ, and you're absolutely right. For a lot of fans, just flying through the world of DBZ and experiencing the story all over again is enough. And if you enjoy it, I'm totally happy to hear that. It's a love letter to DBZ fans, and in that sense, it does work. But for those of us who were hoping for a little bit more substance since the GBA games, something that really would have let us dig deep into the DBZ universe, Kakarot just falls a bit short. So where do you stand? Did Kakarot deliver on its promise to be the ultimate DBZ RPG? Or do you think, like me, that it could have done more? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop your opinion in the comments below.
Quit your incessant babbling and get out of here!
Before we wrap up, I just wanted to take a second to say a huge thank you to all of you who have liked, comment, and subscribed to the channel. Seriously, your support means the world to me, and it's what keeps me going. Reading all your thoughts in the comments and seeing the community grow has just been amazing. Whether you're here for a bit of nostalgia or some fresh takes, I appreciate every one of you. I'm still a super small creator, so any like, comment, or subscribe is a massive win. Thank you.
Farewell and good luck. 3